Here we go. Boom. Listen, how you doing, Coach Launch Crew? In the Coach Launcher group, which if you aren't in there, make sure you get in there because there's so much that happens in there. So much free training, not just from me, but from my friends that I invite in and interview and talk, and they just give the goods. So excuse me as I share this into that group. And if you aren't in there, jump in there. If you don't want to be in there, that's okay, because I am broadcasting this from my Bradley Grinnen on Your Life page. So here we go. Let me just give this a quick share, and we will roll. There it is. And then we're just going to go full steam ahead. So I'm now going to close off all of these things. That's what you get when you're the first ones in. You should see me in our live group calls. There we go. Before anyone shows up for those, I'm usually just singing or whistling in there. So yes, here we are. We are live in the group. We are going to be doing scheduling. So we've been talking about this for a couple of days now. The importance of scheduling. This is like one of those fundamentals, like get good sleep, set great goals, move your body, eat food that gives you energy and fuel, right? None of those things are sexy, but I'm telling you right now, the people who master these basics are the ones who are successful. You look at any successful person, and on some level, they have mastered these basics. And if you're thinking right now and you feel an amount of shame, or you feel an amount of falling short, or you're starting to have critical words towards yourself already about, oh my God, yeah, I need to master the basics. That's why people don't want to pay attention, because they immediately feel shame, because there's these things they feel like they know they should be doing, but aren't. I'm not here to make people feel bad or make people feel shame. Jordan, how are you? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, because I can hear me. That doesn't mean you can, and there's a little bit of a delay. I'm not here to make anybody feel bad. I don't want anyone to feel shame. I don't want anyone to feel like they're falling short. I'm here to help. So I'm going to always tell you how things work. I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to trust that you won't tune out because you feel bad because you don't eat right, or you're not moving, or you're not scheduling. But if you can get your scheduling down, you literally can give yourself so much time back. I have conversations with people all the time about these kind of things. Jorna, thank you for letting me know. I have conversations all the time about scheduling. And Paul Silva says he hears me. Thanks, brother. Paul, if you click in there, love to invite you in. I have these conversations often with people who say, this is Fortune execs, and these are new coaches. I just don't feel like I have enough time in the day to do the things that I need to do to have the life that I want to have. Let me say that again. What I am told from clients is I don't have enough time in the day to do the things I need to do in order to have the life I want to have. For example, an executive. Well, I need a certain level of productivity at my job in order to nail my bonus. We're talking about bonuses that you probably never even dreamed of receiving as a yearly salary. And so there's not enough time in my day to do the things I need to do to have the life I want to have. And so what would that look like for a new coach? Well, there's not enough time in my day to work my full-time job, to connect deeply with my family, and to launch my coaching business. I just don't have enough time to actually do those things in order to have the life I want to have, to get my coaching business off the ground, to start enrolling clients, to go full time, to have the freedom to make the impact that I want to have. Does this make sense? If this makes sense, let me know. So that becomes this excuse to not do things. However, once I go through how to use the Own Your Life Planner, how to schedule, how to be intentional about what you value in life, people quickly realize, oh, wow, I had more time than I realized. I have more time than I imagined I would have, because you're doing the most important things and you're doing them first. And then the things that aren't important, sometimes they just don't get done, and that's okay. If you're here, say hi. Jordan said hello. We got a couple other people jump in. Say hi. Let me know how you're doing. But I thought, enough people had asked enough questions on those posts in the Coach Launcher group that I thought, let's just jump in and talk about it. So there's a few things. And one of the things I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be sharing with you from my iPad, my Own Your Life Planner, and I'm going to share with you how I design out my day. And if you want the planner, I'll give it to you. How's that? How do you like that? I'll just give it to you. You know me, you know this group, you know how I conduct business. If it's going to help you, it's going to help you. We just had, Deanna, who has shown up into this group every day, going through the units, going through all the free trainings. She just posted that she has enrolled a client. She just started her business in March. I don't even know if she's been in this group since March, but she came in here several weeks ago, dove in. Congratulations to you. It is awesome. I love it. But she just put into practice everything she's been learning in here. And guess what? Enrolled a client. Would you like to start enrolling clients who pay you, and then you get to have an impact in their life and help them transform their lives? They do the transformation. You show up and lead as a great coach. Love it. Richard the Earl Pearl the Third. Good to see you here, brother. Okay, so let's dive into this. The thing about scheduling is, at the heart of scheduling and using a calendar and using the Own Your Life Planner, at the heart of it is, it's all about living your life the way you want to live it. Living your life the way you want to live it. Determining how you're going to show up in the world, and then showing up in the world in that way. I've got another screen over here that I'm looking at so I can read comments. So if you have questions along the way, throw them out. Happy to answer them. We're going to do the deep dive. But that's what scheduling and this planner and plugging it all into your calendar, that's what it's all about. Living the life you want to live, showing up in the world in the ways in which you say you want to show up in the world, and doing only those things that help you live your life the way you want to live your life. There's 100,000 different moments you could be creating. 100,000 at least different moments you could be creating in your life. Why not get really intentional about every one of the moments that show up in front of you? How are you going to engage every single moment that passes in front of you? How are you going to be? Who are you going to be? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you be intentional on every level about everything that you do? It's a fair question. It's a solid question. I think it's a question we all should be answering. We just should. So I developed this planner and developed my way of being able to live out what I value, show up in the world the way I want to show up in the world, live the life and have the life that I want to live and that I want to have, and be who I am meant to be, living on purpose with my calling in this world, so that when I show up to every moment, I'm being authentically me and having the impact I desire to have. Now, this didn't fall out of the sky. This is a combination of probably 5 or 6 different planners that I've used over the years. There are plenty out there. I don't think you should get lost in it. If you want to use this one, take it. I'll give it to you for free. To me, the most important thing is that you are determining what you value and who you want to be. And then you're being intentional about making sure every action you take aligns with that. Okay. So the first thing you need to do, Katie Cook in the house. The first thing you want to do is you are going to want to determine, what do you value? What do you value? If you don't know what you value, then you are kind of be all over the place in terms of what you end up doing, how you end up spending your time. So what is it that you value? And then that's the first thing, living your values. The second thing is doing everything intentionally so that you don't accidentally have a life. Why wouldn't you intentionally have the life that you want to live and that you value? Okay. Enough about that. I'm rambling, going on and on about this. So what do you value? Now, when I look at values, I look at it as in, what are some principles that I give worth to, and how do I want to live those principles out in my life? So it's, I don't value business. I don't value work. I don't value family. I don't value people. It may sound weird, but I value impact. These are principles. I value trust. I value honesty. I value life. I value justice. I value transformation. I value integrity. I value honesty. These are things I value. And so my values show up in my day. My values show up in my actions in my day, because I'm really intentional about it. And so I'm going to share with you how I do that. So what do you value, and then how do you get intentional about it? So let's start right here. Let me share this with you. Okie dokie. Screen mirroring. Here we go. iMac. Let's see if we can make this happen. There we go. Give me just a moment while I type these things in. 3664 is the code. Here we go. My iPad's connected, and now I am going to share my screen with you. There is a little bit of a lag. I apologize for that. And at the same time, it's just necessary so that I can actually share this all with you. So let's roll. All right. Let me know if you can see this. I'm going to blow this up for you a little bit. There you go. This is the Own Your Life Planner. Now, I love to live off of the Pareto principle when I'm doing this. Okay. It's just how I like to be. The Pareto principle is an 80-20 rule. It means that 80% of your results are usually going to come from 20% of your actions. 80% of your results comes from 20. Hey, Annie, how are you doing? 20% of your actions. Okay. 80-20. What's that mean? That means there's 10 different things I can do in my day in front of me. But probably out of those 10 things, 2 of the most important things I do will get me 80% of the results I want in life. Right? So I'm going to focus on those 2 things and make them the most important things. Because I know if I nail those 2 things, if I follow through on those 2 important, critical, imperative things, I know 80% of my results that I want in life are going to happen. And then whatever else I can get to, excuse me while I bite my nail, got a hangnail. It's bugging me. I know that's inappropriate for me to be biting my nails on here, but whatever. We're all family here now. So I'm going with the Pareto principle, right? So on this planner, I literally have 3 spots. Whoops. There we go. And these 3 spots right here, I'll highlight them for you right now. Project 1, project 2, project 3. Each day, at most, I'm only working on 3 projects, sometimes just 2. Like yesterday, I'm going to show you yesterday's, and then I'm going to break this down and show you how we will be using it. But this was my yesterday. I will be coming back to this afterwards so you can see. But I think I scratched out everybody's name, so you can't really see everything or anything that's important. But yeah, you see, I didn't do my exercise yesterday, and I didn't meditate in the evening. I try to do that every day. Yesterday was an off day. When it comes to exercise, it was not an off day when it comes to meditation. I just didn't get to it. And that's cool. That's fine. All right. So I just wanted to prove to you, I'm only shooting for 3 projects. So this is what we're looking at. The very first thing I do with this is I date it. So let's just put the date down on here, right? What's today? Today's the 29th. Okay, so 10, 29, 19. And then I like to do, it's Tuesday. So I just put it up there. I literally, if I don't have this up here, I don't know what day it is. Swear to God. And so I've got that. Now I know. I've also got that for my records now. I literally keep every one of my planners. Now, when I first started using this, I printed these out every day, and I would suggest you do that. Don't use a digital copy. The power of having it printed out. Now, this digital copy I use because it's very easy to share with you right now. And so I vacillate back and forth, but my iPad is like, I like to write. You remember better by writing. It leaves an impression. Are you with me? Let me know if this makes sense so far. So the very first thing I do is I put the date. Now I know where we're at. And then I like to write down my life purpose. That's important for me. And you'll see it right there. And so I just write this out again: to surrender and live my best possible life in service of God and others. This is my life purpose for this season in my life. To surrender and live my best life in service of God and others. How do I know that's my purpose? I know that's my purpose right now because I get really intentional about digging into my purpose. That's a completely other training that we can dive into at some point. And I'm not afraid to dive into that with you. But for the time being, let's not. Okay. So this is my life purpose. Nothing ends up on my calendar if it does not align with and fulfill me living out my purpose. Nothing. I don't care what it is. That's one of the lines I've drawn in my life. Does that make sense? Sherry says, great tool. I use it and it lines me up nicely. Yes. And the more you get used to using it, Sherry, the more it absolutely line you up. So what are the things that I value? Well, I'm going to tell you what it is I'm valuing today. And like, you might be like, well, how do you choose, what it is you're going to be valuing? It's just what I feel like I need to be valuing on any given day. Sometimes my values won't change for weeks. Then I'll pick some other values. So I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm valuing right now is just excellence. Excellence in everything. Just not negotiating at all with who I am, how I'm called to show up in this world. Excellence. I also value energy. Energy is what we are all made up of. It's what this universe is made up of. Um, especially when you're digging deep into quantum, the quantum field, quantum realm, and quantum physics, you find out that everything's made up of energy. I value energy. I valued it before I knew the science behind it, right? And then I also value impact, or another way to say that I think is transformation. Okay. These are the things I value. What does that mean? It means each project I pick is, one, going to align with my purpose, and two, it's going to align with my values, so that anything that ends up on my projects are things that are in accordance with my values and my life purpose for this season of my life. Okay. So this is where I start. What are my projects? Well, one of my projects is this live that I'm doing right now, live on scheduling. Okay. This is just one project, but I'm doing it today. So I wanted to make sure I could get it in. Now, I've already filled this out, 1 or 5 days in advance, so that when I show up to the day, I already know what it is I need to do. And in fact, it's already on my calendar. Okay. But that's because I'm in the flow of this. When you first get started, it's going to take you a little bit. But that's one project. I know that if I go live and do this training, I am so aligned and so with my values that 80% of my results are going to, in life, that I want, are going to come because I'm showing up right now and doing this live training for you. I just know it. So I know for sure that's one of it. Another project, I'm literally just going to call it client fulfillment. Okay. And then another project is, I am going to call it trip to visit my friend Mike. These are the things that I know help me align. Now, I don't have to do everything. There's so many, thousands of things I could be doing. I want to focus on these 3 things, right? Well, why do I want to focus on my live? Well, one, because let's see, my value A is excellence. So I want to make sure that I show up and I do this well. And this is going to have an impact and hopefully transform your life on some level. So I know already I'm living in my values, and this is totally aligned with my purpose down here, right? So what about client fulfillment? Well, I know if I'm fulfilling well for clients, that is excellence for sure. That is my energy showing up in incredible ways. And that does have an impact as well. So I'm circling all 3 of those. Let me tell you why. This right here, fulfilling for my clients, and I'll say the same thing for you, fulfilling for your clients is probably one of the most important things you can ever do, because people have paid you, people trust you, and people need your help. So I know when I show up as full as I can with all of my energy to help my clients, it is just a way higher quality of life for me. It's a way higher quality of life for them. So this is usually on here every day. I wake up in the morning sometimes wondering, like, how can I really have an impact on my clients today in a way that they never dreamed of? I mean, that's such a great way to show up. I'm going to stop here real quick. Paul says the act of writing is powerful. I tell clients to write, not type their affirmations. Yes, dude. Yes. Oh, totally. Right. Katie Cook says a good reminder that we don't have to be stuck with our values indefinitely. We can adjust as we see fit. Boom. Absolutely. 100%. Love it. Thank you for being here and showing up. All right. So, and then this trip to see Mike, well, what does it have to do? Well, I know it has mainly, whoops, let's get out of blue. I was using different color pencils and pens when I first was using this printed out. So I know this trip with Mike is going to have everything to do with my energy. All right. I know for sure it's going to help me have an impact and transform people's lives. He's one of my closest friends. He's a dear friend. He wrote Finding God in the Waves. He goes by Science Mike. And when I first launched my coaching business, he and I, we talked every day. We talk almost every day now. We talked every day. He was still working his job. I was still working my job. And he was, he didn't even think about his podcast yet. He wasn't a part of the liturgist yet. But we were both writing blogs. And I became a coach and he became a public figure who speaks, and the work he does is invaluable. And I know if I spend time with him, he lives in LA. So I'm going to go out to LA. It's going to be awesome. Guess what else I get to do? Because I'm out in LA, I get to visit with Joe Koo. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. And I have some other friends out there. So yeah, I want to make sure that trip happens in January. So I've got things that I've got to get down here. I want to make sure it gets done because it is invaluable for me. All right. So I've picked these 3 things. Look, this has to do with my business. This has to do with my business. This has to do with my personal life. So it doesn't have to be like all personal, all business. Some of you I know are going to be saying, yeah, but I've got a job. How do I make sure I get everything done at my job and at my business? Listen, there's 3 projects. Maybe do 1 project for your business that you're launching, 1 project for the company you work at, and 1 project for your family. I'm telling you, if you just focus on the 3 most important things that you need to do each day, your quality of life will dramatically improve. Otherwise, you're just running around like a squirrel looking for nuts, just all over. You know how many squirrels end up getting run over on the road because they have no idea where they're going? Cars coming, they're on the road, they run off the road, they run back on the road and get hit. Oh my gosh, this is what happens when you don't schedule. It just does. Your life will look like that all the freaking time. So let's move on to the 3rd part. Stay with me. I'm showing you how I break this down. I'm showing you how I schedule. Then I move on to what you'll see right here, priority level. This is priority level. Okay. EIM. E stands for emergency. Is this an emergency? Is this something that has to get done right now because I put it off for so long? Is this an investment? Is this something that I actually don't have to do today, but I know if I do it today, I will reap the rewards tomorrow, that my future self, myself 3 weeks from now, will thank me now for having the foresight to actually invest in my own life intentionally? Or is this mandatory? This is like, I got to get this done. Example, parent-teacher conference, right? It's mandatory, but I also can show up to it as an investment as well. Taxes, mandatory, but I show up to my taxes as an investment as well. That way I save money because I'm being intentional. It's an investment in myself. Even though it's mandatory, it's also an investment. If I show up to my taxes in emergency mode, oh my God, it's April 15th. I got to get my taxes done today. If that's how I show up to my taxes, I guarantee you I lose money. And I don't want to do that. Is this making sense to you? Are you all with me so far? Let me know if you're with me. Am I going too fast? Is anyone confused? Is anyone confused? Mastering the basics. It's always in the basics. Thank you, Bradley. I went back to my mental framing today, plan for 2020, but the big goals happen in the day-to-day. You nailed that one. You are right on. Let me know if I'm skipping things. If you have questions, ask them. If you look down here, I've got a key for you. Emergency, investment, mandatory. Okay. You can have multiple. You can circle multiple. So let's look at these, right? What is going on here? Let me clean this up a little bit for you so that when you see it, you can be like, oh, yeah, I get it. So doing this live, I know it's excellence and I know it makes an impact. Client fulfillment, I know it's excellence. I know it's me bringing great energy and I know it brings impact. And then going to visit Mike, definitely all about the energy. So now I'm going to come by and say, what am I doing here? This is sort of the EIM, the Emergency Investment Mandatory, is sort of like Stephen Covey's 4 quadrants. I just removed one because it just seemed like a waste. Okay. So, for this live scheduling, the one I'm doing right now in front of you, I've already done this, by the way. I did this on Friday. The one I'm doing in front of you, but let's just say I'm doing this today. Well, for sure, it's not an emergency. I don't have to get it done. It's not mandatory either. No one's saying, hey, you got to do this live. This is an investment. I love living in the investment zone. When you first start out, you're going to live in emergency and mandatory. But if you can get everything towards investment, that's better. Client fulfillment. Well, this is mandatory for me because of my values. I want to 100% live in a place where I'm always fulfilling for my clients. But guess what? It's also an investment. It just is. It's mandatory because of my values and my standards, because I value integrity. And if I say I'm going to help a client, I'm going to help a client. But it's also an investment because it's just the way things work. If you deliver for your clients, they'll tell other people your potential. They'll give you testimonials. They will go out and just without even you prompting them, they'll just go out and make public statements about what it's like to work with you and how well you can help them. That is an investment, not only in your business, not only in yourself, not only in your family. It's an investment in other potential clients in the future because because you delivered for your current clients, potential clients are going to hear about it. They're going to want to work with you and it is going to transform their lives as well. You're investing. It's awesome. You're investing in everybody, yourself, you're investing in your current client, and you're investing in future clients. Does that make sense? I get jazzed. I'm a dork. I get excited about this. Now, let's get rolling here. My trip to visit my friend Mike, 100% an investment. Now I know. Now, in my head, this is checked off. I know. I haven't lived in emergency mode in a while. When you first start, you're going to have a lot of emergency and mandatory. That's okay. You want to move from emergency and mandatory to investment. Okay. I'm just going to stop there with that. So now I go through with listen, I'm not trying to accomplish all of these things. I filled out this part for last week. I filled that out last week for today, but I'm just using an example. So for the live on scheduling, the first thing I had down here and I put down today is, well, what am I going to go live about? I need to determine that. So I got to make sure I decide, right? Well, I decided that was a different day. So I know I'm going to go live on scheduling. So you know what I need to do? I know I need to schedule a webinar in Zoom. I know I need to do that. I need to do that in advance so I can show up and just click it and roll. And that way I know I can share it into my Facebook group and from my business page. I know I want to make sure I have a blank Own Your Life planner. And I want to make sure that I've got one filled out so you can see what it looks like when I'm done and checking off my day. Okay. So I made sure I did that. I need to make sure that I announce it, which I've done. And that might be the 4 things that I need to do to move this forward. And then as I go on, oh, did I schedule it? I did. Boom. And up, I've created a blank. I filled out one, made sure it was blurred out so I didn't give out any names, and I made the announcement. I just need to, what are the steps I can take to move this project forward? You don't have to finish a project every day. Client fulfillment. I know that there is, you know, Colonel Mustard needs me to look at their avatar and their niche worksheet. I know that Professor Plum needs me to look at his offer worksheet. I know that Mr. Exec needs me to send him transcripts from our last session. Okay, let's just stop there for sake of time. So I'm going to make sure I get those things on there. All right. That's what needs to happen. I want to move forward with these things today. And then I know that I've got to create a Loom video explaining answering a question that Sherlock Holmes had for me. Okay. So I'm literally going to shoot a video, explain it, send it to them, because they don't have time for a call. Sherlock's busy. I could create time for a call, but they don't need it. They just need me to explain something. So I do it. I'm explaining this idea. My trip with Mike, what's going to move that? What are 4 things that are going to move that forward? Well, I know exactly what it is. One thing is I want to look at airline tickets to fly. Okay. I need to coordinate dates with Mike. Then I want to figure out, is there anyone else that I want to see? So I'm going to make a list of anyone else. These are the 3 biggest projects that I'm going to be working on today. All right. That's it. This is what I'm going to work on today. How about deliver like a boss? That's what we're doing right now. All right. Does this make sense? Are you with me so far? It's not sexy. It's got teeth though. Oh my gosh, does scheduling have teeth? Here, this is how I know that this day I'm going to show up as the best possible version of myself. Look at this. It's part of my life purpose to surrender and live my best life in service of God and others. Well, this is how I say I'm going to do something, I am going to do it. Scheduling is an act of self-love and self-acceptance at the end of the day. It truly is. It's an act of self-love and self-acceptance. What do I mean by that? When I execute and I do what I say I'm going to do, when I intentionally am living out the life I say I want to live out, there is total congruence within my body, my spirit, and my mind. It is an act of self-love that can never be denied, because I know at my core, I'm keeping my promises to myself, to other people, and I'm showing up to make an impact and to care. It's like there's no greater self-love. We all talk about self-love in terms of our attitudes towards ourselves, and that's accurate. That's a part of self-love. Self-love is not getting wasted every night. That's self-love. Self-love for me is acting in integrity and being faithful to the people I say I'm going to be faithful to. And so that being able to be intentional and show up and making sure I'm actually who I say I am, living the life I say I want to live, is one of the greatest acts of self-love. Every time I get on my treadmill or I go to the park and I hike, it is an act of self-love that cannot be denied, because my body, my mind, and my spirit all recognize, oh, I've shown up for myself. This is at the core of scheduling, self-love and self-acceptance. Very few people see it that way. It's how I see it. I shouldn't say very few. Maybe there's hundreds of thousands. Maybe there's millions of people who see it that way. Yeah, maybe there are. I just don't know them. Okay, now I've got all these things. So that's project. This is the project zone right here. Boom, done. Okay. Now I move on to, I love this line right here, by the way. We're going to come back to this. My schedule is an extension of my intentions. Oh, do I love that? My schedule is an extension of my intentions. That means all of these things have to end up on my calendar. If you look at my calendar, you will see that the things that are right in here, let's go with this color. Every one of these things, every one of them are on my calendar. I literally will go into my calendar and say, okay, well, when am I going to schedule my Zoom webinar? When am I going to create a blank OLYP? When am I going to create a filled out one? When am I going to make the announcement? When am I actually going to schedule it and deliver? When am I going to do my client fulfillment? Every one of these. Okay, well, when am I going to get my tickets to fly? When am I going to coordinate my dates? When am I going to list out everyone I want to see there? It goes on my calendar so that there is a time to do the most important things. I literally carve out time. If you aren't the one putting your events on your calendar, you are at the mercy of everyone else's agenda. I'm going to say that again. If you aren't intentionally filling out every minute of your calendar for every day, you are 100% at the mercy of everybody else's agenda. All of a sudden there's an emergency. And guess what? Oh, you've got to help me. You've got to help me. Oh, you've got to help us with this. You've got to help us with that. And you're like a squirrel going after nuts, like the squirrel from Ice Age, right? You're just bouncing all over the place. And you get to the end of your day and you're exhausted and you look back and you're like, I don't think I got anything for me done. I refuse to be at everyone else's agenda. So I schedule. Does that make sense? And are you with me? It gets on my calendar. Listen, if it isn't on your calendar, it isn't really going to happen. If it isn't on your calendar, I guarantee you there's a 90% chance it doesn't happen. Do you want the most important things, your most important actions not happening? Of course you want them happening. So why in the world would you not put it on a calendar? When I'm done filling this out, my head is blanked. I have all the bandwidth in the world and I have such a deep well of creativity flowing within me because I don't have all this stuff and all this junk that I got to get done floating around in my head. It's all on paper. It's all on calendar. It's done. If it's on my calendar, it's done because I show up to my calendar and I keep my commitments that I make to other people and to myself. All right. Now let us move on. People to connect with today and desired outcome. Well, I know for sure that for this thing right here, for the live that I'm going to do, I know I've got to connect with Coach Launcher Group. And what do I want? I just want to confirm that I'm doing the live. I want to let them know. I wanted to let you know that I was doing this so that if you needed to, you could grab it. Okay. So that's someone I need to connect with and talk to. I know that I'm going to need to connect with Mike for trip to coordinate dates. And the desired outcome is that I have dates that I'll be flying out there. Okay. That's it. I think that's all I need to connect with here. Now, for client fulfillment, Colonel Mustard, I need to let them know that I've finished their avatar niche sheet. So I'm just going to confirm with them. Same thing for Professor Plum. That could be through Messenger, could be a text, could be an email. Again, confirm. Mr. Exec, confirm. And then Sherlock Holmes. send video. Okay. Now, I've got a strategy session this evening with a person. I'm not going to say their name. Strategy session. That's what it is. Actually, here's how I do this. I usually put the strategy session here. And then what's the desired outcome? I just want to show up and serve them. That is my desired outcome on every enrollment call. I just want to serve. I detach from the outcome of making a sale. How can I serve the person that's in front of me? That's what matters to me. Are you all still with me? Okay. And then I also have tonight a follow-up call. And what do I want to do with them? I want to serve them. Okay. That's it. These are the things. So I know I need to have a time on my calendar for letting these people know. So there are times at the end of my day that I schedule 30-minute blocks where I check email and I do my communications. I know this call with Mike is probably going to be in the evening tonight. Now, things to check off my list. What's this about? Well, I know I've got to go to the library to return a book for my daughter. That has to happen today. Okay. I know that there's some grocery shopping I need to do. Okay. It's not a big deal, but I'm going to make sure I find time on my calendar to do it for sure. I want to walk. Let's say it's the morning. I know I want to get my meditation in this morning. I want to get my meditation in this evening. And I know I want to eat well in every meal. Okay. That means if I'm going to eat well on my calendar, for the most part, I've got to make sure I leave myself time to make dinner. Okay. Are you still with me? I know, boring AF, but my life isn't boring. I have the life I have because I'm doing this right now. So there we go. Oh no, I lost it. Let's try. Let's zoom back in here. Screen mirroring. iMac. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, great. So we're back. So now it's just starting to get good. What am I going to do? What is it that I'm going to do? How am I going to celebrate? I just looked at my calendar, by the way, and I see that I've got a call with a exec. I've already got it on my calendar because they scheduled it. Serve. So I know that's going to happen as well. So I need to make sure all of this stuff gets on, my schedule. Okay. It's got to be on my calendar. My schedule is an extension of my intentions. That's how I know it'll happen. But here's where we get to the great stuff. What's the great stuff? What I will do to enjoy and life and celebrate it today. One of those things is simply going to be dinner with daughters. That's going to be one of them for sure. One of the other things that I'm going to do to enjoy my life today and to celebrate it, I've already done. That's lunch with my girlfriend. Celebrate life and enjoy it. One of the other things that I'm going to do, that I will do tonight, is what could I do to, now we start thinking, well, what could I know what it is, but what could I do that will help me celebrate and enjoy life today? I know, take my daughters roller skating because they had so much fun 2 weeks ago when we did that. Boom, put it on the calendar. I fill out my calendar. My calendar doesn't fill out me. All right. Getting ready to wrap up. As I go throughout my day, I check off. I love this. I scheduled my webinar. Okay. I'm going throughout my day and all of these things. As soon as I'm done, I can check off that I delivered as a boss. Okay. Client fulfillment. When I do these things, fulfilled for him. Okay. Trip to Mike. Okay. I've already looked up tickets because I got to that point in my day. I've made my list of anyone else. Now I just need to coordinate dates. So what do I have left for my day? I know I got to talk. I know I got to look at Professor Plum's offer sheet, and I know I got to create that Loom video. Okay. Those chunks of time are coming. And that's tonight on my call with Mike. Well, I confirmed because I let everybody know, right? I've sent the email to Colonel Mustard. I sent an email to Mr. Exec, and these calls right here are happening a little later today. So I will check them out. I will check them off as they happen. Boom, meditated in the AM. At the end of the day, if I ate well, I will put eat well. Walked first thing this morning. I know I've got to drop off this library book and I know I need to go grocery shopping. Both of those things are going to happen in about an hour when I pick my daughters up. This is how your day ends up looking like this. Doesn't always have to be jam-packed, but this was my yesterday. Excellence, ruthless action, impact, giving. I know if I just live out this, now all I do is wake up and let the reminders on my calendar tell me what to do next. Do you know how I get to fully show up all the time because I'm not worried about, am I going to be able to get this done today? Am I going to be able to get that done today? Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I've got to return that book. How am I going to do that? I guess I'll return it tomorrow. And I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and pay that fine. And then my brain starts thinking, why are you such a loser? Why are you always returning books late? Why are you always paying fines? I get to completely avoid that. My mental framing gets easier because I'm showing up like this. I'm not going to show you my calendar and that you don't need to see it. You just need to know that you can take this sheet, fill it out, and then let all of this stuff land on your calendar. Because when you do, you know you are living the life that you value. You know for a fact you're living the life that you value. All of these things that you value are coming out in your life. You know you are living your purpose. You are fulfilling the reason why you're in this universe. And it's such an awesome feeling. And it's not sexy. I know, but my gosh, does it have teeth and leverage for you to be able to transform the world? Listen, the greatest achievements happen this way. The most successful people do this. Trust me. Go to the most successful people that you know or don't know. Do a little bit of research and you'll find out they're doing some form of what I just walked you through. I'm giving this to you for free. This is what I take execs through so they can get the life they want and increase their productivity, their performance, their achievements, and their accomplishments at work while increasing the depth of their connection and their love at home with their family and riding their bike for 600 miles on the weekend if they want to. This is how they do it. This is how it gets done. And you will find you have so much time because you've now filled up I will literally schedule on my calendar free time and spontaneous time. Like that's not spontaneity. Trust me, I have more resources and money to be more spontaneous than I ever was when I wasn't scheduling because I didn't want to lose my spontaneity. Didn't want to lose my freedom. Your calendar and your schedule are just an extension of your brain. They're tools that allow your brain to go, whew, it's all down on paper and we've got it taken care of. Do you have any questions before I roll out? This pretty much played out how I thought it would. 10 people rolling in at some point, 3 people at the end, because this is just not, everybody wants like the hack and what's the pill I take so that my brain works better and blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants to sleep well, eat right, move, schedule, set goals. But this is what works. It just is. Any questions Awesome. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for showing up. A little bit of a lag, so I'm going to hang out for a second and I'm going to answer any questions that you might have. Jonah, you are welcome. I will drop a link. Let me do that right now. If you want the Own Your Life Planner, I'm going to drop a link. You can just go download it. Going to drop it in the comments section here. There it is. There's a mini training video, like a 20-minute video that I did. I didn't go as in depth as I have here that you can watch there, but for sure, that's the Own Your Life Planner. You can download it. You can watch it. Katie says sharing is caring. Absolutely. 100%. Paul Silva, thanks for showing up here, buddy. Appreciate you. Let me see here. Any other questions? That's that. There you have it. I will also drop it in the business on my Bradley Grinnen page for you. You are fantastic and awesome. And I will talk to you in a moment. Whenever that moment is, let me know. All right. Have a great day.